Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a really deep dive into a super powerful piece of motivational philosophy. We're going to be decoding the core principles of mindset, relentless effort, and what it actually takes to build a lasting legacy. If you've ever felt, kinda stuck in a rut or wondered what truly separates the people who just dream from the ones who actually achieve, well, this is exactly for you. We're going to break down this philosophy step by step, taking these huge abstract concepts and turning them into a really clear, actionable psychological blueprint. So let's just dive right in. Right off the bat, the source material hits us with a surprisingly direct question. Why do you worry so much? It's a pretty intense wake-up call, right? I mean, we all have that everyday habit of taking on totally unnecessary tension. But the fundamental argument here is that life is meant to be actively lived, not spent completely paralyzed by anxiety. It's a direct challenge to stop stressing over things that are entirely out of your control and start focusing all that intense energy on what you can actually change. It's like this simple question forces a hard mental reset before we even get into the heavy lifting of the actual grind. All right, let's jump into section 1, mindset and responsibility. It's all about taking control. The text bluntly states that if your daily routine is basically just eating, turning on a fan, and going to sleep, while as amazing as a nap sounds right now, you're actually operating from a place of weakness. It's a harsh truth for sure. Passively existing is literally the enemy of achievement. The absolute baseline assertion here is that everything in your life depends entirely on your mindset. True strength doesn't start with physical actions. It starts entirely within your mind's absolute refusal to just settle for the bare minimum. You have to actively choose to expect way more from yourself. Think about this for a second. The speaker points out that at the exact moment you're sleeping, somewhere far away, in some dark corner of a room, someone else is awake, grinding, and working incredibly hard. It's such a vivid, intense image, right? It's deliberately designed to build this massive sense of urgency. It completely shatters any complacency you might be feeling because it reminds you that while you're resting and maybe putting things off until tomorrow, your competition, or honestly just someone who is way hungrier than you, is putting in the real work today. So it sets up this massive core reality check. You have the passive, worry-filled existence of sleeping and stressing out versus actually waking up and actively pushing that boulder up the hill. Success demands absolute 100% personal responsibility. If you secretly think success is just something that happens by chance or luck, well, this philosophy says you are flat out wrong. You have to make a really definitive choice between these two realities. Stop passively escaping into sleep or anxiety and start actively engaging with the tough, deeply unglamorous work required to get ahead. Moving right along to section 2, the importance of continuous effort. Basically, the daily grind. Because here is a hard, undeniable rule from the text. Absolutely no one becomes successful in a single day. We live in this era where everyone just expects overnight success, right? We want the quick fix, the viral moment, the ultimate shortcut. But that illusion is aggressively torn down here. Claiming that success is somehow out of reach or only reserved for a lucky few is nothing more than an excuse to get out of the daily grind. Achieving literally anything meaningful means embracing the fact that the timeline is going to be long, is going to be demanding, and a lot of it will go completely uncelebrated. And this totally redefines what we typically call a goal. Take the concept of a destination, or Manzil as the source refers to it. It isn't just a dream. A dream is passive. It's something that just kind of happens to you while you're sleeping. A destination is a real target that demands continuous, daily pursuit. If you aren't willing to dedicate every single day to it, if you aren't feeling it and obsessing over it relentlessly, then it stays a fantasy. But if you obsess over your destination all day long and pursue it without giving into weakness, you will undeniably reach it. So how does this actually play out? The source lays out a very specific chronological path. Step 1 is that mindset shift we just talked about, taking that radical personal responsibility. Step 2 is daily effort, that continuous, slow, deliberate movement. And interestingly, step 3 is sacrifice, which absolutely always has to come before step 4, ultimate success. You just have to keep walking your journey slowly but surely. If you stick to this progression and refuse to surrender to the comfort of weakness, hitting your destination isn't just a vague possibility, it literally becomes an inevitability. Which brings us perfectly to section 3, sacrifice for success, the reality of paying the price. Because to actually achieve those huge goals, you literally have to lose something along the way. You really can't have it all. Just sitting around trying to keep yourself perfectly happy and perfectly comfortable is completely incompatible with the kinds of sacrifices required for true achievement. You have to actively throw away those comforts, the cozy couch, the extra sleep, the endless mindless scrolling that hold you back, and commit to moving forward, no matter how incredibly uncomfortable it gets. The journey always demands a toll, and you have to be willing to pay it up front. But what happens when it just gets relentlessly hard, and the sacrifice feels like way too much to handle? Well, the text makes a fascinating point here. You will only truly understand the value of your sacrifice after you achieve success. It's basically a blind investment. While you're down in the trenches, losing sleep, missing out on all the fun, it probably won't fully make sense. It's gonna hurt. But you're assured that once that destination is finally reached, looking backward will make the value of every single solitary sacrifice blindingly beautifully clear. And that leads us into our final phase, Section 4, Write Your Own Story. This is all about building your ultimate legacy. There's this incredibly striking, almost jarring realization presented here. Life, it's really just two moments. The exact moment you arrive in this world and the exact moment you leave it. That is literally it. It's such a profound way to inject a massive amount of urgency into our daily decisions. Our time here is incredibly limited, beautifully fleeting, and frankly, because it is just these two book-ended moments, we absolutely cannot afford to waste the space in between. So the huge question is, how do we actually fill that space? The source argues that true success means tossing out all your grievances. I mean, what is the point of complaining about other people? What's the point of holding on to grudges? Instead, you are urged to become a living, breathing example. You're tasked with actively authoring your own existence, to write your own story, and literally create your own world. It is the ultimate call to absolute self-reliance, challenging you to assert total creative power over your own life. Which leaves us with this insanely provocative final thought from the source material. When your two fleeting moments are finally up, will they say that you just came and went? Or did you actually leave a mark? The tools are all right there. You've got to shift your mindset, embrace that daily grind, and fully accept the sacrifice. But the choice of how you answer that final question, that is entirely up to you. Keep pushing, keep learning, and go write your own story.